did you get in here? Yeah, you watch it. So, I wanted to talk about something. I wanted to get a quick video. I wanted to talk about something, get the dialogue going. And I wanted to do that because I have a 4 video layout that I'm going to be working on for the next week. And that is recording 4 videos. Some of them are coming from some of the questions that Tammy asked. And I thought it'd be best to go deep on those in the video to teach you guys a few things that Tammy asked from the book, Return of the Divine Feminine. Go ahead and swipe it right there. But while we are waiting for those videos, I wanted to give you guys this to think about, okay? The question oftentimes comes up. Why are women so tough? Why are women so independent? Why are they so hard? Especially women from Newark, Philadelphia, um, and some of the other urban areas. Somehow there's this conversation out here that the women are too hard, that they're not feminine. And people are saying that, it's not what men want. I want to talk to you all about something, okay? Anyway, I'm from a place where the crack epidemic and the AIDS epidemic really, really sunk its teeth in our communities and ripped fathers away and put them in jail at rapid numbers as a way for what they call the crackdown. I don't want to get too deep into it because that's a video altogether. I get really passionate about those political issues that sometimes to this day I still see remnants of that. But somehow people forget that those things happened. And they forget that they happened to real life people. They didn't just happen to nobody. They happened to real people. And we're looking at the after effects of it. And where I'm going with this is this, okay? Stay with me here. I'm going to take a woman from Bronx, New York, okay? Let's take a woman from Bronx, New York. And we're going to take a woman from Newark, New Jersey. Now, people say Newark. I say Newark because I'm from Newark. Okay, if you're from Newark, the accent is Newark. We don't say Newark. We say Newark. So I'm from Newark, New Jersey. And you can hear me when I'm speaking. Sometimes I go out in and out of AAVE. That's because there's these subcultures that exist that we don't oftentimes talk about, right? Within the African American culture, there's also African American subcultures, okay? And this is why I'm taking a young lady from the Bronx and I'm going to take a young lady from Newark, New Jersey, okay? The young lady from the Bronx, okay? In her environment, okay, there is going to be a certain socio-economic status. With economics, lack of economics, lack of opportunities, lack of education, lack of experience, okay? And so you're left with the remnants of what that looks like. There's no finishing schools in the Bronx, okay? There's no finishing schools in Newark, New Jersey. And what do I mean by finishing schools? I mean finishing schools that people who have money, they're able to send their children to, especially their little girls. How to fold your legs, how to set a table, what not to do at the dinner table, how to speak when you're talking to a superior and or a boss or whomever. Finishing schools gives you the social etiquette skills that we oftentimes mistake for femininity, when in fact it's just etiquette that we are really speaking about. When we say women are too loud, especially if you're from the Bronx, why are they so loud? Why are women from the Bronx so loud? Why are women from Newark so loud? I am extremely loud. I'm meaning when I'm socializing and I'm laughing, oh my gosh, it's in fact terrible. But that is a social construct that comes from subcultures, okay? If you take a young lady from the Bronx and you take a young lady from Newark, they're going to have some similarities, but subculturally they're going to be completely different, okay? One might be asking for a chopped cheese, Poppy, and the other one is going to be asking for, let me get a Philly cheesesteak, even though she's from Newark. One is going to say, let me get a chopped cheese and a grape soda. Okay? Poppy. And the other one is probably going to say, you know, let me, what's the one thing with, oh, pastrami and cheese was big when I was young. Let me get a pastrami and cheese, okay? Boston baked beans, okay? Lemon heads, a pack of lemon heads, a Chico stick. Let me get a Chico stick, Boston baked beans, some Bonton potato chips. If you don't understand what that means, let me get a Chico stick, some Boston baked beans, and some Bonton potato chips. If you don't understand what that means, that's called subculture. What it feels like to walk to school, okay, and tuck your chain in. Perhaps you don't know that if you're from a suburb. Those are what we call subcultures. The cultures are just different, okay? And I'm saying the young lady from the Bronx and the young lady from Newark are different because culturally and environmentally, what they are experiencing is different. That determines how the woman shows up in the world. There's no finishing school in the Bronx for African American young women that they don't have to pay for, they can just go, or that they can afford. And with that kind of social economic so forth, you're really, you're trying to get by, you're trying to make it. And my very first shootout, and I believe I wrote this in a book called "I'm Not Easily Broken," which was never released. But my first shootout, I think I was 9 years old, going to the store called Owls, and I had to run across the big field. I was going to get my mother a pack of cool cigarettes and a Pepsi. And on my way back, there were these two buildings that they were fighting against each other, but they were doing the shootout and they were running through the big field, and that's where I had to run across to get from the store back to my building. And I was a little girl, knowing how to navigate through a shootout. Okay, hear me, what I just said. Could you imagine? Could you imagine your child navigating through a shootout? When I mean navigating, that navigating means knowing where to duck and knowing where to hide and how long to duck and how long to hide. And not just knowing that because somebody taught you, knowing because you learned on your own, which means it happened before. Knowing who's doing the shooting, oh, that's Pee Wee, or that's something. Okay? So, where I grew up, there, here's why no one who was doing the shootout mattered. Because they knew you, you're fine. They would probably even try to protect you, okay? If they knew your family, you were probably good. But this is what I'm saying. When we throw these blanket statements out there like, oh, women are too hard, women today are not feminine, women are all going to be on Instagram. We're looking at the subcultures and we're throwing everybody else in the pot. And we're not giving grace to people who might have certain experiences. For me, I had those experiences where you just weren't, navigating or learning how to navigate through a shootout, or learning who the big drug dealers were in the hood, or knowing, them knowing your name because it's a good thing for them to know your name so that you can be protected, especially if you're traveling to another building, okay? I remember what my mom told me. I was going to my Aunt Jeanette's building, and she said, when you make it there, because it's a different building, because I wasn't allowed to go up to building 77. Building 77 was way up the hill, okay? And it's possible that whoever was in building 77 didn't like the people who was in building 45, okay? This is the psychological prisons that I'm talking about, that were actually created for neighborhoods like ours, black and brown people, okay? But you say, oh, we're going to go to Becky, we're going to go to this person because it's softer. But you forget that your experience is none other removed. All right? It's none other removed. You have certain behaviors that are unlike the others as well. Because it matters. Your conditioning matters. Your environment matters. What you've been exposed to matters. When you become of a certain age and you get to reflect at your life to see what you've experienced, you get to face your trauma head on. Okay, face your trauma head on. For those of us who even knows that it's trauma, some of us believe that it's normal because we don't know nothing else. We don't know anything else. It's like the time I was dating this guy. He took me to a very, very expensive golf trip. I had no clue about golf. I had no clue about how expensive it was, and that people had come from all over the world. And I'm in this golf cart because I didn't want to stay in the golf cart and I didn't want to stay at the golf club. So I'm riding the golf cart around the entire course with music on, having a good old time. And he lovely said, people have spent thousands of dollars. You cannot ride the golf cart through. You can't do that. And I was ignorant because I had never did that before. Okay? And not that, I never, I thought it was cool. I wasn't, I'm just chilling, just all out here, all wrong. But that too is called conditioning. That too is called experiences. So that's why I say femininity is a walking into this whole idea of leveling up and all of that. You can level up all you want, but it's going to be your experiences that's going to give you true, real experience. That's going to really cause you to refine yourself. That's why on this channel we talk about refinement. That's why on this channel we talk about allowing women grace, because I know where I've come from. Okay, I know where my cousins are, my family, where they are, and no matter how far I move, because I am moving out of the country, right? So no matter where I move, I'm still Newark at heart. No matter how many times I write something, no matter how many books on etiquette I write, no matter how many books on this and this and this, I'm still completely Kareem McGee from Newark. And you can hear it when I speak, in and out of AAVE all the time. Okay? That's called conditioning. Allow women some grace. Funny story, I had these Timberland boots on, right? And I was looking all over for these Timberland boots, and they were they were size 3.5, which was very difficult to find. I'm looking all over for my Timbs because I knew what I wanted to wear. Okay, I'm looking for. I said, babe, do you know where my Timbs are? It's like, no, I don't know where they are. I said, how come I cannot find my Timbs? I just don't understand it. Where did I leave them? Did I leave them somewhere? I'm rolling over it, and then finally one day at dinner, he said, why do you wear Timberland boots? I said, why do I wear? So he said, why do you wear Timberland boots? I've never seen a girl so girly wear Timberland boots. And why are you still looking for them? I said, because I need my Timbs. I only wear my Timbs with my hoodie. There was a Carhartt. I can't see the North accent sometimes makes it difficult. The Carhartt hoodie. I love that hoodie. It made me feel extra warm. But I only wore it with my Timberland boots. And he said, I hate that hoodie. I said, what? As a matter of fact, where is my hoodie? My hoodie and my Timberlands went missing. And he put a card on the table. He put a card on the table. And he said, get some new shoes. And a hoodie that's a size small, not an extra large. I said, I like my hoodies extra large. I liked my hoodies extra large because when I was growing up, as a Muslim girl, you didn't want to show too much. And so as a way to hide or to cover up, I wore things that were extra large or that was too big for my body. Didn't even realize that that was a trained behavior. But as I began getting older and encountering or experiencing love in life, there were small corrections that happened. So at the core of me, I'm still a rock star girl from Newark, right? But I had never found my Timberlands again, and neither did I want to find them. I didn't want to find my Timbs. Once I got that card and I saw how much was in it, oh Lord, I traded in my Timbs for shoes. But I also grew up too. I also grew up. But that was experiences. So when I see a young girl from the Bronx and she says, something like, what are you looking at? Or she says something and people are exploiting that, It makes me angry. It makes me angry that people take videos of these young girls, exploit them for views and clicks and likes, exploit them as if they are irregular, like an irregular shirt, you know what I mean? As if they are worthless and useless. I get really angry because I think about all the many times I was imperfect and irregular and am, and wondered if somebody was to do that to me, simply to make fun of you because of your conditioning, because of your environment, because the way you were groomed. Growing up is a grooming, okay? That's why we talk about refinement on this channel, because we recognize that growing up is a grooming. And a lot of us were in environments where we were not groomed, okay? In fact, we are just repeating the cycle that we've already saw. So that's why this channel exists. This channel exists for all the little brown girls who have not yet arrived. And I'm your guide.